Hi everyone, my name is Brandi Chandler and I am the interim coordinator for the Organic Certification Program here at the Texas Department of Agriculture. I've been an organic inspector for the past 10 years and so I've had the luxury of seeing both sides of the program. I really hate that we couldn't see each other face to face, but I understand the circumstances and so I was glad that I was able to at least provide a PowerPoint with a narration so that hopefully I can answer any of your questions. So with that, let's just jump right into the certification process. As a certifying agent, we are accredited by the USDA National Organic Program. So basically that means that the USDA gives us authority to certify operations in the crop, livestock, and handling scopes. TDA is the only certifying agent here in Texas. You can go out of state to a private certifier. That is completely okay. There are lots of certifiers across the United States that are willing to take you on. Private certifiers usually can travel across state lines, while our inspectors are limited because we cannot inspect out of state. Just be aware, if you are going to use a private certifier out of the state, you may incur additional inspection fees because your inspectors may have to travel a greater distance. So as a side note, before moving forward, we are currently not accepting new livestock applications. This is pretty common in the industry. Sometimes we'll have a big push in a certain scope and we'll kind of have to play catch up. So we're hoping that later on this year we'll be able to start taking livestock applications again. If you are interested in that, just make sure you email us or call us to get an update on that. As of March 22nd, this is a breakdown of the operations that we currently certify. As you can see, crop production operations are definitely our strong point with 103 certified operations. We already have 3 hemp applications. I feel like that number is going to increase pretty quickly, but right now they're definitely getting licensed with our agency first, and then they'll move through the organic certification process with us after that. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later on. We do have 5 livestock production operations, which doesn't seem like much, but livestock can get pretty in depth as far as your organic system plans, and so right now that's about what we can handle. We've got quite a few distributors, and then we have 13 cotton gins. That's a good number right now, especially in West Texas with a lot of cotton producers. This map is from 2016. However, the density of organic industries is pretty similar to today. As you can see, the Northeast and the West Coast are pretty dense as far as organic industry. That's pretty common. We'll talk about gaps in the organic chain a little later on, but basically processors follow producers, producers follow processors, and so you'll see these hot spots of organic chains, and then you'll also see areas that are pretty much void of any organic industry. So Texas actually ranks 5th nationally in total organic sales with $297 million. And then California is pretty far ahead and they lead with $2.8 billion. Our most common products are milk, cotton, rice, peanuts, and other grains. The most common misconception is that organic crops are usually specialty crops, but that's actually not the case. We produce more traditional commodities or cash crops. All right, so back to hemp. Basically, the only guidance NOP put out is that hemp has to be produced in accordance with the Domestic Hemp Production Program and or the 2014 Farm Bill. So what that means, you must be licensed by TDA as a grower in order to apply for organic certification. So you have to complete that process in its entirety before you apply for organic certification. Hemp's going to be treated as any other crop that we certify. So you're going to follow the same regulations as anyone that grows any other cash crop. So to get more information about becoming certified to grow hemp, just go to our website and under regulatory programs, you can click on hemp. So what are the pressing issues within the Texas organic industry? I'm going to be a little bit more specific towards our crop producers. If we were face to face, I could kind of see if there were any processors in the room, but I'm going to assume that most of y'all are probably farmers looking to change from conventional to organic farming, so that's what we'll focus on. The first issue that you'll face as a producer is that the NOP regulations appear complex and difficult. As a certifying agent, hopefully we can help you understand what that regulation means, the reason behind it, and how it applies to your operation. We do have to walk a pretty fine line because as a state agency and a certifying agent, we're prohibited from consulting. So we can't lead you down a road that makes you choose a specific product or a specific crop rotation or a specific seed, but we can talk to you about the regulations and help you make that decision on your own. The next thing is the lack of seed that is viable for organic production in Texas. That right there could be its own PowerPoint presentation, so we're just going to leave it at that. The next thing is that most operations choose to continue with conventional farming along with their organic farming. That's called a split or parallel operation, and it's completely fine to do that. Just know that when you do that, your operating procedures, your cleaning procedures, equipment, logs, things like that can become pretty lengthy to verify that there's no commingling of the organic and non-organic product. So your adjoining land use will probably at some point give you a headache as an organic producer. Your neighbors are still going to farm conventional crops, and so you may see issues with drift or overspray and cross-pollination. There's nothing really that you can do about these issues other than hopefully have an agreement on file with your neighbors that they'll try and respect your buffer zones, but it doesn't always work out for the best. The next thing is gaps in the supply chain. This kind of goes back to that map that we were looking at with organic hotspots in the industry. We see where producers will get into the certification program in hopes that there will be a processor that follows, but sometimes that doesn't happen, and so the producer ends up dropping certification. And then it also happens the same way around with the processors. They get in hoping for the customer base, and maybe that doesn't happen either, and so they'll drop their certification. The same goes for certified slaughter operations. Currently, there is no slaughter operation in Texas that's certified organic, and so that's a huge gap because there are people that want to have certified livestock, but they can't because there's nowhere to process certified organic beef. Well, our agency just accepted an application for a slaughter operation, so we're hopeful that it can become certified. It is a pretty lengthy process, and so we're keeping our fingers crossed on that. The ever-changing rules to the NOP regulations, the rules will change based on concerns or evolving needs in the industry, but we've seen it to where one change in a rule can change your operation plan substantially. But again, as a certifying agent, we will let you know when those rules are possibly changing so that we can try and help you adjust. Let's get into the 5-step process to get you certified. So first you need to research. I strongly encourage you to review the NOP regs before you dive in. Not knowing the regulations can get you into pretty hot water. If it's bad enough, like using a prohibited product, it can actually take your land out of certification status and you have to start a 36-month transition period again. So I've got a link for the NOP rules attached, and then also I've attached a link to a guide for organic crop producers. This is a little bit of an easier read. It's got the rules laid out and then describes those rules so that you can see how it applies to you as a crop producer. So definitely use this as a resource. The second step is to apply at our website. So you go to texasagriculture.gov, and under regulatory programs you'll find organics. There's lots of links on that web page that have information about what forms to fill out, what fees there are, anything you can think of. But obviously if there's a question that you just can't find, you can call or email me. I'll have my contact info at the end of this presentation. So once you're done with the paperwork, you'll mail it into us or email it into us, and we'll review your organic system plan. So that plan, once we determine it's complete, we send it out for inspection. The inspector is going to get your packet, everything that you sent in to us, and they're going to get a copy of it, and they're going to take it with them to the inspection. And basically they're going to be looking at your operation on site and make sure that what you put down on the paperwork matches what they're seeing in person. The most common issue is just that some things are left out of the organic system plan and then an inspector sees it. So there are minor changes that happen during the inspection process. That's pretty common. As long as we can update it during the inspection, usually that's all it is. It's just an update during the inspection. If it's pretty serious, it can turn into a non-compliance. So when the inspection's done, they'll send it in to program and we'll review the inspection report. And TDA will make a certification decision. So if the inspection report looks good, the OSP looks good, then we'll issue your certificate. I know that this probably felt a little bit like a crash course in organics, and so if I missed anything or didn't explain something well enough, don't hesitate to email me directly. It's brandi.chandler@texasagriculture.gov. You can email our whole team at organic@texasagriculture.gov or call us at 512-936-4178. Like I said, don't feel bad about reaching out and asking questions or getting some clarification on some things. It can be a little overwhelming in the beginning, and so I want to help out as much as I can. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.